from Louisiana. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. I'm so excited to see you guys. Hey, guys. Hey.
Hey.
Doing? Welcome. Oh my goodness. So I'm really excited to have you guys on today's show, really to hear your story. There is nothing off limits. You could talk about anything. When I say anything, I mean anything. We want to hear your story from the male perspective and the female perspective. Now, I know for a fact that the two of you are executives in academia in your hometown. You know, you've been doing so many things, accomplished so many things. So how the heck did you even find love? So let's start on your side, Rusty. Let's talk to the man in the house. Also a member of a fraternity, right, Rusty?
Yes, I am. Not that fraternity, but the other one. Ice Cold Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
This cold's in this house. Don't let them out. Okay, here we go. So here we go, Rusty. So tell me, as a man, right? As a man, because I know for a fact there'll be a lot of single women also watching this show. As a man, can you give us some insight on the man side of what the heck were you thinking when you were single? Like, did you date many people? Were you just out there looking for the one? Like, were you a low down dirty dog? Like, tell us something, Rusty. Tell us something. Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, I've been an academic, higher education academic for over 30 years. I coached for 20 years. So
Wow.
as a coach, you're kind of devoted to what you do. And in the process, if you have the opportunity to date, find someone special, then yes, that's wonderful. I was kind of married to my job. I did date, and no, I wasn't that rough. But I kind of really dedicated my life to my coaching and to my students at the university. I'm a very student-centered person, so it kind of takes all of your time. And during that time, when I did date, if you were in the area and you're long distance, I was always on the road most of the time, most of the year. So it's not a lot of time or a lot of downtime where you get a chance to kind of quality time that you really get a chance to kind of get with someone that you can kind of really say, okay, let's gel. So during that time, and then one year led to the next, and then I had pretty much said, okay, hey, I think my window is about closed. I'm in upwards of 50 years old now, so it might not happen for me. Well, thank you, baby. So for me personally, it was just a situation that I had not found that right person. I dated individuals who were good people, could have been great wives, but I wasn't in the same space and the same time with those individuals.
So Rusty, my question to you is, do you think it was more of timing? That was also a big thing. You came to a point of time in your life where you said, you know what? I need me a wife.
Well, it was more so not so much needed. It was more so I wanted to share some of the things that I had that I've been able to amass, and some of the good things that I've been able to situations I've been able to put myself in, and I wanted to share that with someone. And he so happens to be that person that I wanted to share that with. I mean, she has a beautiful heart. She's one of those special individuals who will do everything she can to take care of you and take care of those around her. So that really attracted me to her. And that's kind of like where I'm at and where I'm at in my life and where I've always been, I should say. So that's what attracted me to her, and kind of like she caught me right before the finish line, the bachelor finish line. I was almost there, and she caught me. She caught my eye, she caught my heart, and the rest is history.
Oh, beautiful. So Dee, tell us from the single lady side, where were you? Were you fed up and frustrated with the dating scene? Were you like, you know what, forget this thing, I'm not dating anymore? Or were you still open to love? Like, where were you when this love bug bit you?
I think I've always been like open to love. I don't think I've ever just been like, nah, that's not for me. Even like having bad luck at sometimes. That's how we met, actually. So and that back way back again ago. Yeah, all the way back there. But I think when I was getting ready to move back home to Grambling the second time, well, no, it was the first time. The first time that I moved back home, one of my good friends, who's like a little sister to me, named Tasha, I was packing up, and I think I was just venting to her and just telling her about, this is for the birds. I'm going back home. It's the town that I live in is like this big. It's really small. It's not that many eligible bachelors here. And if I was living in Fort Lauderdale, where it was a huge like metropolitan area and couldn't really find love like that, then I didn't know what was going to happen coming back to my little small rural town of Grambling. And so then that's when she told me that she had the perfect person for me. And she was like, it's Coach P. And so then I was like, okay. Well, I mean, I already knew him because everyone knows him in Grambling because he's like Mr. Grambling pretty much. Or like the kids all think of him as the godfather at Grambling State University. So it's not that he's not known. So I definitely knew who he was. I knew he had a great heart. I knew he could cook. So all those great things.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that together. So she hooked us up, and then when I got home, then we started talking before.
Right.
Before I moved home, we started talking on the phone a little bit. And so then when I got here, that's when we tried the dating thing out, like part 1. Cycle 1 is what I call it. Okay. And so it didn't quite work out that cycle.
What happened? What happened in cycle 1? Why didn't it work out?
It was again at that point. I wasn't ready to settle down and get married, that kind of thing. Again, I was still coaching. I was still doing a lot of things. As a matter of fact, I was going through a process that I thought I would be leaving Grambling. So at that particular point, now you're bringing someone else into a relationship. Now you're about to leave, and I didn't think that was fair. And I knew I wasn't ready at that particular point to say, okay, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. So.
And he wasn't ready to give up bacon. I was on this whole no more eating bacon kid.
Oh,
and he
she was like, oh, no meats. No, you're not eating any meat. And I was like, excuse me? She's like, no meat, no meat. I was like, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
I think it was the bacon.
You put bacon in my pot. He's like, what?
Yeah, I think it was the bacon. But so he kicked the curb. You know, my poor little heart was just broken. He was just like, nah, it ain't going to work out for us. And so.
Oh, yeah. Man. So how many years until y'all got together again?
Well, I moved back to South Florida, you know, because I was heartbroken.
That's not why she moved back. Let me just make sure I put that was not why she moved back. She moved back because this big old town of Grambling was this big, and she was like, oh my God, there's no place to go eat. There's no entertainment. There's nothing like Fort Lauderdale, you know, nothing like that. So she's like, I'm out of here.
So I moved back to Fort Lauderdale, and I was there for about 3 years or so. And so then during that time, my dad's health had started being not ideal. And so then I found myself coming home and things of that nature to make sure he was okay. And it was just better for me to just move back home again. And that was about 2017. And so I was able to secure a job in this area. And then that's when we started trying again. Well, I was in a relationship when I moved back. So
Wait a second.
So yeah, I was in a relationship and everything. And so I thought that was gonna go the way that, you know, and he was looking to move into Grambling and everything too. And so just when I got here, things just happened. And then I actually started dating someone else.
So you see, Coach, I'm too removed. I am too removed. Right.
Yeah. So this one was a distance relationship as well. And I mean, and I had high hopes for that one. It was a great guy, but things just didn't work out.
Where did you meet these two individuals? Because ladies always want to know, where did you meet? So where did
the first one in Fort Lauderdale, it was at work. So I met him at work, and so he worked in the IT department. And so I mean, you need help or something when you're at work with your computer. So that's how I met him.
And then what was the second person? Where did you meet him?
The second one I actually met when I was in college. He was my college sweetheart. And so then we
really
just
thought that was gonna work out.
Look at you, stop.
I got my big glass of water for this one.
So yes. So that didn't quite work out that way either. And all during this time, we were still friends and talking. Yeah. I worked on the first floor in the building and he was on the second floor. So we would like see each other, chat it out. Our departments were always overlapping in some type of way because we were both in like student-centered areas of the university. And so then we just kept a really good relationship, a good friendship. And so then, you know, he
I
started
love
flirting with the girl. Yeah.
Well, and coach, let me say this too. Both of those guys are really good guys. So it's not like she was.
They were. I lucked up. I really
right.
did. I had.
They're good guys. Good guys.
So nice.
I mean,
So,
they are.
yeah. So no, they were, and I think they're still single. So I mean, so one is in the New Jersey, New York area, and one is now in Fort Pierce in Florida.
All right, there might be something there that we might.
Yeah, gainfully employed.
Start a database of exes. You know, like who's still.
Right. And you can give it where we can put reviews and things out. You know, they have a good review, like 4 stars out of 5 or something.
She's still trying to hook people up, coach. She's still trying to hook people up.
I love this. So how long were you guys friends before it like started to evolve?
We were friends for a while. We were actually friends before she left, you know, the first time, you know, so that was extremely important to me. I mean, I couldn't see myself. I mean, she's beautiful. She's fine. She's sexy. She's all of those things. But for me, it's always been, I have to have that connection, that heart connection, that someone who cares about people. She loves animals, maybe more than people. You know, sometimes I wonder because she'll throw me out the house for the puppies as opposed to, you know, me. So, but all of those traits about her was something that attracted me to her and that let me know that, okay, this is an individual who would give her last and do whatever she could to make others happy. So that's pretty much the family background that I come from. And my father and mother were married for over 25 years. That's what they had. That's what my grandfather had, you know, so that's what I was looking for.
Wow. And so what were you looking for, Dee?
I was looking for someone that I think my dad felt really comfortable with because I had dated a lot of guys before. I mean, I wasn't out there like a lady of the night or nothing like that. But my dad had met a couple of like my exes and stuff, and I just didn't really see a spark for him in that relationship or those people who would really, I guess, respect my relationship that I have with my dad because I'm a daddy's girl. And so I do place him high in my life and things of that nature. I do take care of him whenever he needs something. I also was looking for someone that I'll be able to talk to about different things. I needed someone who I would be able to communicate with and be transparent with. So I wouldn't have to worry about, okay, now what did I tell him about this in my life before? So I needed to make sure it was someone that could know all the dirt, all the skeletons, and I could just really just be free with that person. And so with Rusty, I mean, that was really who he is. I mean, he is an extremely giving person. He never meets anyone that he really doesn't like or anything. He's always trying to help someone. He loves my family. My family absolutely loves him. I think that they love him more than me. And really they do. I tell my mama that all the time when I call her and then I was like, hey, Mom. She just like, hey, D. And then he'll say, hey, Mom. She's like, hey, Rusty. And I'm like, oh, wow.
I know how that feels. I do.
It's like we got all of that.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to look for someone like that, someone who I would not have a problem following or anything, because I have a strong personality. And so I
you know, Coach got very strong personality.
So I wanted to have that.
To that. All right. So Rusty, tell me, brother, how do you come together with a strong woman? Because there are many strong women, right, that say they don't have a problem submitting to the right man, right? So all these parameters of who they can or cannot. So tell me about that dynamic, because, you know, as strong women, we're used to things being a certain way. So how do you encompass that? Like, what does that look like in your household?
To me, it's respect for her, though. It's respect for the fact that she has her own mind. She's going to say what she's going to say. We may not agree all of the time, but at the end of the day, I know she's doing what she thinks is right for the right reasons. So that respect for the fact that she is strong, that she is going to say what she's going to say. And I learned this from my father before he passed. Sometimes you'd be like, yes, love. Yes, love. Okay, love. Because it's really not that big a deal to me, whether the wall is gray or green or blue. So why am I fighting about that? You know, that to me, that does. So men, pick your battles wisely. Pick your battles wisely. If it's not high on your priority, don't make it an issue when it shouldn't be an issue.
See, he threw in that gray wall. We just painted the walls gray. So,
it's gravity. Gravity.
Yes, it's called gravity. But also, I think that, and I'm very thankful for his mom and his aunts, because they're all extremely strong and very vocal and opinionated women. So I think they've already kind of molded him into what he should expect from like a very strong-willed woman, or a woman with a strong personality as well. So it's refreshing when I'm around all the good women and the good old family and everything, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm home. This feels good.
They tell her, yeah, girl, tell him, you right, girl, tell him what you want. And I was like, okay, y'all can calm down a little bit now.
I love all of this. So if you're just tuning in, we're here with the Pontons, who are just sharing with us the breakdown of going from single to married, from self-love to real love. Real love. Oh, I'm searching for that real love.
Yeah.
So, question. I have another question for you guys. So, when it came to, okay, now the transition of going from single to engaged, that's a big transition. So let's talk about it. You know, I know you're people of faith. So did you wait? Did you not wait? What did you decide on doing with that? Did you do premarital? Did you not do premarital? Did you talk about expectations before engagement? Like, what was your process to getting to engagement, right? Because often I tell my ladies, you got to have the SAT. Ladies, you got to feel safe and secure. You got to feel authentic, and you got to feel like you can trust this person. You know, like that's the baseline of at least somebody getting in the category of being your husband. So tell me if you agree with that or disagree with that, and then what did you decide to do before you got to the engagement?
Well, I think you said, I mean, you have to have those things. You have to feel safe, you know, and for us, because we were friends prior to, and she was dating someone else, we didn't just jump into bed together, you know. Yes, she's extremely sexy. She's extremely, you know, sensuous, but the respect was there from the fact that she was seeing someone else. And so we kept that separate. Now, when she started not seeing that person as much, then it became, that door kind of opened, and it was like, okay.
You was all on me, girl.
I was like, okay, hey, you know, somebody got to make you happy. So why not me? Why not me? So I think that it was a gradual thing. But again, I have to emphasize the fact that it was that friendship and that trust first before. She even thought I might have been like on the other side of the fence, you know, because
that was cycle one. That's so old.
Because
that was like cycle one.
It's extremely important to me. Respect is.
Right. So you weren't trying to rub on her leg.
Right. So, and we had established the fact that she had been in some relationships that were, you know, like that she was coming off of that she was not pleased with, so that she didn't want to get into those types. So we like established the fact that we were not going to be sexual. You know, we could be intimate.
I was staying the night over here. Cycle one. This is cycle one back like 2012. I was staying the night over and with nothing popping off. And I'm like, this man, maybe he's gay.
She could not believe
maybe
that
he
I
doesn't
could
like
resist.
me. Like, maybe he doesn't like girls. Maybe he's just gonna be friends. Okay, we can be friends. Yeah, love it. Because that had never happened really to me before. Because usually if I had stayed the night over to a guy's house, and he would be like, oh, okay, something's gonna pop off most likely. And no, we would be cuddled up and we would just go right on to sleep. I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, and I tried to explain to her, Coach, that in past relationships, they knew that about me, knew that the fact that I could respect that boundary, that we could get into the intimacy part is so much more special than just the sexual part. Because the sexual part, you know, you can take care of that on your own. I mean, let's be real, but that intimacy part, feeling that connection with someone, feeling that you can actually merge and not have to go to that part is something that was important to me.
Yeah, and I think we started having serious conversations. I wanted to know, you know, what was his long-term plans with me? Like, Was he going to be deliberate or anything? Was he looking to a long-term commitment such as marriage? Or I really didn't want to just be 40. How old was I?
40.
40. I didn't want to be 40 and just be dating for 3, 4, 5 years. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I had already done that in past relationships. I've been dating for 3 years and nothing happened of it. So it was just that within myself, I was like, well, I'm going to be dating with a purpose pretty much now. And so I presented that to him. And so I was like, you know, what's up? Do you want to be with me like forever or anything? And I mean, he has a totally different version of it in his head.
No, I don't. That was pretty much what, but the thing what I was telling, especially like with what she calls cycle one, in cycle one, I didn't think that she was ready, and I didn't think that I was ready at that point. Even though she was saying that's what she wanted, I didn't think that, because she had been in relationships that had failed and that, you know, she had been hurt by. And I told her that you need time to recoup from that. You need time to kind of get some of that stuff out of your system. And for me, when we came back to cycle two, then I was in a position, I told her, I'm at a point in my life that I'm ready to settle down with a single individual. So even when she was dating someone else, I told her, I said, well, I'm not interested in dating anyone now. You know, so this is a situation for me that if it does not work with the other relationships and it comes back around, then yeah, we can do that. So it was a situation where I allowed her to sow her oats, you know, because yeah, just go ahead and do what you got to do. Because I really know that I'm at a position in my life and a time in my life that I know that I want to be with one individual, you know, and date only that person, make a commitment to that person.
Wow. So then we started, when we realized that we were going to be serious, he was Catholic and I was Baptist. And so when we realized we were going to be serious, it was that there are certain like protocols that you have to follow if you're talking about marriage within the Catholic Church. And so his mom is deeply
she's the next thing to the Blessed Virgin Mother. You know, she, like the Blessed Virgin Mother, then it's Mama.
Yes, honey. So
Virgin Mary and then to your mama.
It's Juliet right after that.
Right.
So one of the things is that you go through about almost 6 months of premarital instruction with the priest. And so then he chose the priest that he's known for decades. And so we would go there after work on, was it twice a week or once a week?
Once a week.
On Tuesdays, I think.
Tuesdays, yeah.
On Tuesdays after work, we would go there. And so on the first time, he presented like this little pamphlet. It reminded me of the blue.
Big.
Yeah, it reminded me of the blue books you use when you're taking a test in school. And so it's called the Focus Inventory. And it was at least like really 164 questions. I think it was more because I don't think at that time we did the cohabitation part because we didn't really want to tell the priest that we were living together.
We were living together.
And, you know, we didn't want to, well, I don't know why we were thinking that way because it was part of the inventory. So obviously they know people live together. But later on we came clean and told the priest we were living together. But it's 164 questions or whatnot. And it truly is an inventory of everything. It talks about how you were raised. It talks about how you want to raise your children, how you communicate. It talks about your sex life. It talks about finances. It talks about how you communicate within your family about your relationship as well. What else was it? It was a lot.
I mean, it was a complete inventory.
Yeah, it was a lot. They didn't leave a single question out, honey. I mean, it was everything.
Even the illicit questions like, are you into kinky sex?
Yeah.
All of that, yeah.
And imagine discussing this with the priest. So it was, and so you fill it out, and then that's pretty much what guides you on your journey through the marital instruction with the priest. He goes through each question with you, and then he actually really only looks at the questions where you either were indifferent or you had different answers.
Because we did it separate now. We answered the inventory separately, and then they go back and they
in separate rooms.
Separate rooms, and they go back and they do a reflection on what's separate on your what's good, and it has the whole inventory. It tells you things that you're compatible about, things that you might want to look at or discuss, that kind of thing. So
yeah, nothing. It's no way to get around touchy subjects.
love that. I actually created a product called the Love Deck, which is 60 questions that I believe you should ask before choosing someone to marry. So this will be the next step to that. So this is the fun dating stuff, but then when y'all are getting serious,
Yes.
it sounds like the great inventory to take for real.
I told my sister
for you guys from let's see, Latoya, who's 43 in Stanton.
Latoya.
So was there ever a time when you stopped believing in love or that it could happen again? And if so, how did you start believing again? Was there ever a time that you stopped believing in love?
I don't think for me, I've always been optimistic, and I guess I've always felt like it was going to happen. I mean, I just wanted to figure out, like, when is it going to happen, I guess. I just didn't know when, but I never gave up on dating. And so I think that I've seen that with some of my friends before, that they're just like, well, you know what, I'm just going to be by myself or whatnot. And they just give up on dating. And I never had that moment in my life. And I don't know why I didn't, but I was always open to trying different things and even trying different races. So those types of things will happen. And
she still came back. I got you.
So I dated tall, short, smart, not so smart, thuggish, so all of those things just to see if I could get it right. So I don't think I ever just gave up on it. It just, I don't know. I don't really, no, I never gave up on love. Because I always felt like, it was going to happen for me one day. Now when, I don't know. But I just felt it.
I've been fortunate to love some very special people in my life over my lifetime, and no, I never gave up on love. I think that I've loved people regardless of whether we're in a relationship or not. And I don't think there's a situation that I've been in that if you can sit here and say you love someone, if that person didn't abuse you or didn't do something just totally to kind of like betray your trust and you just grew apart or you just weren't, then that's still love in your life for that individual. So no, I didn't give up on love. I kind of joke about the end of the race and I got tripped, she tripped me right at the end of the race, that kind of, but no, I see so much love around me from my family, in this case, going into another family. So no, I never gave up on love.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I was just sitting around like doing this either, waiting for the next guy to come around. I had my friends and things of that nature. Right. And so, I mean, that will occupy sometimes. And then, my friends would sometimes be my wing girls and everything. If we were out at Blue Martini or something like that, going out, or even sometimes I would just be alone. Like I would go and eat dinner by myself. I would go to the movies by myself. And then that actually makes it less intimidating, I guess, for someone to approach you too, because then I would sit at the bar at Blue Martini. I love that flatbread, and they would have live band, and I would just sit right there and are either True Luck, because they have one of the best happy hours if they're in the Fort Lauderdale area, because of course I'm back in Grambling and it's like this big, so none of that exists here. But like True Luck's had live music, and so those would be professional men who would be coming into there doing a happy hour, and it's decent pricing. So you just have to keep yourself open, really.
I love that. So that is something that I speak to women about, is like, if you the weirdest thing to me is that women specifically will say, well, love's not for me, so I'm just going to focus on my career. What is that? We don't say, oh, well, a job is not for me, so I'm just going to focus on staying at home. It's just like, love is the only thing that we say, that's not for me, or it didn't work out, so forget it. No, keep open. You're still doing what you normally do, but there's a specific mindset shift that happens when you say no thank you versus yes and. It's just literally saying yes and these two are showing us that, look, they both stayed open to love, and they loved and they lost love, and that's okay because they found love again. I'm so excited that y'all found love again.
And just be open. Don't always be looking for the same thing, because I'm telling you, like, some of my exes, they are along the spectrum. It's just like, oh, she dated him, and none of them look alike, really. I don't have a type. I don't do that. So, I mean, it also let me know that I was just terrible with picking people because I didn't have a type. But well, I mean, girl, this is the best ever. But I didn't do on my own. So
many women's pickers are broken, right? So it's like it's okay to admit that you got a broken picker. Like, this is why my profession exists, right? Sometimes we pick folk and you look back and like, what was I thinking?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you have an awesome booth. So now, so now you're moving towards engagement, and now you're like, okay, here we go. We're engaged. Do you want to share your engagement story? How did he propose?
Well, I wanted going through the marital instruction again, just hitting back there. We were discussing because I had to give the priest my baptismal certificate and everything because there are a lot of steps for marrying a Catholic person when you're not Catholic. So, and so there are a lot of agreements and promises that you make as well. And one of them was that since we were going to be an interfaith relationship, that I would have to agree that my children would be raised Catholic. And so I was just like, oh, okay, then sure, I'd go along with that one. That works for me. But the thing is, I like, well, who's going to go with me to church on Sunday? Because they're going to be in mass and then I would be at my good Baptist church. So I just decided that I would just convert so that we could keep like one unit for our family. So then I started the conversion. It was called RCIA, for Ritual Christian Initiation for Adults. And so then I was kind of like on the speed track for that because we need to get it done by Easter. And I was starting around sometime in October, November-ish or whatnot. But since we're from a small parish, they were able to pretty much double up on things for me. So that I will be prepared by Easter. So Easter comes around, and so it's time for my confirmation, and I'm really excited. I have all my family there, and my sisters, my aunt is there, my mom and dad are there, and I always told him that I wanted, like, if he proposed, well, actually not if, it was more like when he actually has to step away. It was more like when you propose, then I would like for my family to be there. And so I thought that maybe that would be the time, but then after my confirmation, we were having a reception. And so that's when he called me up and said, oh, I have something for D. And so I go up there and it's a flat box. I mean, it was flat. And I was like, it ain't no ring in there. So
she wasn't even thinking about no ring at that time.
Because it would have been good at that time. Everybody was there. So I was like, that's not a ring. So let me just fix my face. Let me play this off because I thought it was going to be a ring. So I opened up the box and it's this nice, beautiful rosary and I'm showing everybody. And so then I'm turning around and he was on a knee and then my mama is screaming and running from the side of the area. My sisters are screaming and everything. And so then he had asked me to marry and I was like, yay, yes.
And see, what she didn't know, Coach, was that when I went into the process of going through the process of the pre-marriage counseling, I had made up my mind at that point that this was going to be the person that I was going to marry. So when we had actually completed the process, the pre-marriage counseling process, I had already gotten a ring, but I was getting these little hints. I don't see no ring on this finger. Ain't no ring on this finger.
My hand was light. That's what I was saying. My hand is light.
You know, and I had already picked up the ring. And
6 months of classes, brother.
Yeah, so she was like, I was like, okay. You know, and it was important that it would be a surprise and that her family would be there. And I knew this was the time that her family was going to be there and everything. So it was a perfect opportunity. So she said she wasn't thinking about it. She was that because he ain't got no ring yet. My finger light, his hand is light, you know. So
and that box was flat.
And so she wasn't expecting it.
This is no ring.
How many people did y'all have at your wedding?
350. Girl, and that was small. We had our wedding on a Thursday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so, like I said, he's like Mr. Gremlin and the Godfather and everyone. And he had been single for 55 years. So, I mean, people wanted to see this man get married. They didn't care nothing about me.
They didn't believe it was happening.
They couldn't have cared less about me. It was, we're going to go and see Coach P get married. Like students, faculty. We had like the president at his university, Grambling State, was just like, I got tired of signing leave requests for people because they were coming to your wedding. So it was, I mean, we got married in only like 4.5 months. So we became engaged in April, on April 21st, Easter, April. I just leave it with that. And so then we got married on September 12th. So it was fast because he was just like, no, we're not going to wait. And then I had to work. He's athletic director as well. So I had to work with the football schedule and then look and see, okay, when is an open weekend for the football team? And then, okay, now let's move that to a Thursday so then we can kind of celebrate and have the weekend and everything too. But I was kind of shocked that still 350 people took off work and came to an 11 o'clock in the morning wedding.
Wow.
But we had a good time. We had a second line band. We had amazing food, shrimp and grits, some fish.
Don't make me hungry, D. Don't make me hungry. So
yeah, it was good.
What would you say to those who are still single over 40? Like, what would you say to someone that's like, I don't know, but
To
love.
me, I would say life is just starting. Life, you are in a much better place in life to know what you don't want, know what you do want, and to make conscious decisions that you don't feel like you're pressured into doing something because of the unknown. Probably by the time you're 40, you've dated, like as Dee said, you've dated different types. So you can basically say, nah, I'm not going that way. Or I would like to go in that direction. So to me, um, that age, and I know it's a cliche, is only a number, but it is. I mean, you've got the rest of your life to be happy with someone.
Well, I agree with that, but just speaking, I would say from a woman's perspective, because like we're going through IVF right now. And so I just have to be realistic on the numbers and the statistics for that. So if you're a woman over 40 who hasn't had any children, then you may want to start looking at some alternative ways to maybe preserve your fertility components. And I would say looking at freezing your eggs or whatnot, because I was just on a call yesterday with an IVF group, and there was a fertility nurse telling us that after 35, your fertility rate drops like 60%. So it's just that definitely I'm not wanting people to settle, but maybe keep that, because that was not something that I had thought or ever thought that I would be experiencing right now. Like I had done my career, I like finally made up, like this is who I'm looking for, this is my line in the sand, nothing below this is going to work out. I got the great man and everything, and then now we're trying to start a family. It's like, well, damn, okay. So now we got to deal with this. So those are things that I would say to maybe look into. Is not inexpensive. So I mean, just with at least just freezing the eggs, because I'm 42, and then just going through just worrying about the quality of my eggs at this time and making sure I took all the supplements, then that was something that I really had to think about finding love after 40. But that's just on if you want to have natural biological children, because you can definitely adopt as well, or have a surrogate, or have donor eggs, all those good things. But as far as with dating, I think that you just have to know exactly what you want and what you're not willing to settle for. And making sure that you're not compromising yourself either in that process, trying to please someone or trying to fit yourself into who you think that man wants you to be, so that they choose you. Or either if you know that the man is dating more than one, because it's hard out here. If you know he's dating more than one, you're up here always trying to make sure that you're like the lead horse or something. So you're doing all these things that, yes, you're doing all these things that if you have to try and keep it up, it's going to be exhausting. So that's why I was saying that it was very important that when we were dating, that I found someone who could just accept who I was. Because I mean, I don't wear makeup or anything of that nature. I don't like always be dressed to the nine. I don't always do like a lot of the glamorous things like throughout the day. That's not who I am throughout the day. Sometimes I come in, well, a lot of times I come in and I just throw my clothes on the floor. So it had to be someone who was going to be okay with that. So just making sure that you're comfortable with who you are authentically, and finding that person, or being able to recognize that person who is also okay with who you are authentically.
Thank you, Dee. And you made me specifically think of one client I have who's 50 and was dating a guy, and every time she went on a date with this guy, he'd say, "You gonna wear that, girl?
Yeah.
You gonna wear those tied boots again? She's
Oh.
like, I thought we were just going to the movies and I just have on a sweater and jeans. He's like, you don't want to dress up a little? She's like, this is dress up. I said, you need to let that man go, girl. You need to let him go.
Oh, we did the same time.
Booyah.
Yeah, because I mean that's the person that you're gonna be living with for the rest of your life, and who wants to be on eggshells forever? I mean, that's just
You turn his keys. Like, it's just too much. Shoot, you just reminded me of a date I went on. I went to Jazz Gardens, which is a big concert down here in South Florida.
Yeah, I love it.
60,000 people, and it was supposed to rain. So I wore a sweatshirt, mom jeans, some regular sneakers, and my guy was like, that's what you wore? You couldn't wear a sundress? I'm like, it is 60 degrees outside, and it's raining.
And then that's not pavement. You're gonna be in the mud.
In the mud. In the mud. Like, I am not trying to be cute. I'm trying to jam and keep warm with this tarp on, you know? And so just the way that he shamed me, I was just like, oh.
Yeah, definitely. And don't be afraid to seek help. I mean, like I said, it was my girlfriend. Yeah, like you. My girlfriend was sitting in my living room and she was like, I have the perfect person for you, because they've seen who you've been dating and everything. And they've had like this view, like you've been in this aquarium, like for them, your friends, and they've been watching everything because they're your friends. And then, I mean, and they know exactly what didn't work out or who that guy was.
I tell y'all that Dee had a good friend, but a lot of times our friends are like the blind leading the blind, you know?
Well, yes, that's a good disclaimer.
A good friend, but not every friend is like that.
That's true. No,
on that, because our friends will make up all these bubbles of fairy tales in their mind and then have all your dreams come crashing down. So
yeah, see, I don't have any friends like that. All like my entire bridal party are type A women, and they are very blunt.
They're all from a certain sorority. Give your shout out.
Well, yes, you know, for the Deltas, but I was actually divided. I had 3 Deltas and 3 AKAs, and so yeah, my bridal party was.
No, you ain't got no.
Okay. I didn't have any SG rolls. So sorry, but they are some of the most honest women, and I know that they love me, and I know that they wanted to see me find love, and I know that they wanted to see me happy. There's never been any type of jealousy or anything with any of my friends, which is why I know that I'm extremely blessed to have 6 women in my life who provide that for me. And so I trust them completely with if they were to fix me up on dates. Like I had one girlfriend, she came out to South Florida and met somebody I was dating. She was like, oh, hell no. She's like, this is not what you should be doing. How in the hell do you deal with this? And of course, that didn't work out. But, you know.
Friends will tell you like it is. Sometimes you're like, ooh. Which is why I also tell my clients, like, you can't date in a bubble, right? So oftentimes what happens with dating is you just date that person in like a small corner over here. And then you bring them out when you're engaged and everybody's like, red flag, red flag. You're like, what? I'm in love. So that's horrible. What's beautiful is that you guys had your circles involved so that you were able to actually see clearly, you know, and I commend you for that, because so many people date in silos, which is a serious issue. So we're going to do a lightning round. Okay, guys? Y'all ready for the lightning round? You got your papers? So let me pin my video real quick. So you guys know what the lightning round is. I asked them 5 questions, either or, and they were supposed to answer what they think their spouse, hey, stop cheating, spouse would have said, okay? So this is natural reactions, very, very simple. This is the lightning round, okay? All right, so here we go, guys. Reggae or R&B? Put up your paper, let's see. Reggae. R&B. Is it right?
No.
Yes. Well, no, you prefer reggae or R&B?
No, I prefer, yeah, that's right. I prefer R&B.
Yeah.
And she prefer reggae.
Yes.
Yeah.
You was like,
Yeah.
Answering for each other. Okay, here we go. Chicken or pork chops? Neither. Fried pork chops. Are you a fried pork chop type of guy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat either one of those.
Okay, so for number 3, I want you to answer for you out loud. So I'm gonna say New York or Jamaica, and then you say your answer, like what you would answer, and then throw your things up. Okay, all right. New York or Jamaica?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. All right.
Jamaica.
Dishes or diapers?
Diapers.
I can't see yours, Rusty. Let me see your paper. Make sure you're not cheating. Okay, diapers. Okay, here we go. All right. Work from home or go to work?
Home.
Yeah.
So I want to go to work.
Oh, okay. You want to go to work? Okay, we got that right. Okay. Because I want to stay at home, and so he likes to go to work.
I like to go to work.
You like to go to work? You sure you didn't just change your answer at the last second?
No.
No, this is the one I was worried about. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, especially like, right now. We're both at home.
We're both at home now, and I'm going to go to work. I'm going to find a way to go to work.
He loves people. I mean, and he enjoys making sure the students are okay. So I'm not surprised.
Oh my goodness. I love it. So our interview is coming to an end. You guys have been doing really awesome. I totally appreciate you. Is there any parting words? Is there anything that maybe I didn't touch on that you want to share? Anything at all? There is an age gap with you guys. Like, how did you adjust to that? Was that a thing? Or did you say, whatever?
I think it was more he has more energy than me. He's 13 years. Wait, I'm 42.
And I'm 56, but you're about 13. To be 43.
But 13, I'm not the math person. He's the math person. So it's 13 years between us. But I mean, he looks great for 56. And so, and the funny thing is that people always, well, not always, a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, does your daughter want anything or anything like that? And so that's hilarious. And so now I was like, well, Daddy, what should I get?
I think when they ask that question, I say, well, she does call me Daddy sometimes.
But no, that hasn't been a problem at all. And I mean, that could be something for those ladies who are 40, who thinking that you should only date between 35 and 45 or whatnot.
Girl, it is a thing. Let me tell you right now. They be like, oh no, I don't want anybody older that I have to take care of. I was like, how are you so sure you're not the one that's gonna have to be taken care of? So you can't do that. Right?
He can run circles around me. Like, his energy level is ridiculous. And I mean, I would definitely say jump out and meet those 50-plus-year-old men. I mean, look, hello. So I mean, you can definitely. He's 56. So I mean, it's just have fun with that. Right. Don't limit yourself to, like, don't limit your pool like that. I mean, being a 40-year-old dating, you really can't date somebody from like 30-ish or even 30 all the way up into 60 or more, depending on how they take care of themselves.
And I would like to say that about that 56 point. Everybody who knows me, well, my family, longevity has been, my grandfather lived to be 97. And it was only till he was like 95, 94, 95 that he started slowing down. So he outlived 3 women. Not saying I want you to go nowhere, baby. But he had 3 wives, and he outlived all three of his wives. So I just look at it like if you're young at heart, you keep yourself healthy. I don't do a lot of things that maybe some people would do.
Gary, he don't drink.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I love activity, and being around college age kids really keeps you young. I mean, from the dance to the lingo to the whatever.
He loves to dance. I mean,
he's TikToking over here. Y'all got the TikTok dances going.
I told him, I was like, we go into quarantine, we doing all the TikTok dances. So be on the lookout for that. Because, honey, as soon as I can learn these little dances, I'm on it and popping.
I can't.
Little dancer.
Oh, snap, bring it down. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us at Married After 40. Guys, this is the Pontons. So please hashtag Rusty and D if you love them. Please do hashtag Married After 40. Please follow us, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe and tune into the next episode. Share this video with a friend. We're spreading the love, guys. Married After 40. Love is possible. This is Coach Cassie, your host. God bless you. Have a great day.